So here we are today with Kathryn Barredo, who is one of the judges for the spring image competition. And that will be, submissions are due April 22nd, and all members get one free entry. So make sure that you enter the competition because you have absolutely nothing to lose. So welcome. Kathryn, do you go by Kat?
I go by Kat.
Welcome, Kat. I'm just going to read your bio here. Kathryn is a professional photographer specializing in newborn and maternity photography for the last 13 years. She has also created a teaching platform called Mom Talk Educate and has taught hundreds of other newborn photographers over the past 5 years to perfect their craft. She loves studio light and neutral tones, which are also natural tones, right? So welcome. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being a judge. I'm looking forward to the spring competition myself. How have things been? I hear you've been in a blizzard.
Thank you for having me. Yes, it's been a little bit crazy. I'm housebound today, so things have had to get rescheduled. So it's a good thing we're doing this on the internet.
Yeah. Thank you, internet. Thank you, technology.
Yes.
Sometimes it's great. So I'll just hop right into the questions I have for you today. The first thing I would love to know is what draws you in when you're viewing images in an image competition? What's that first thing that you see?
I think that I'm looking for good lighting, number one. I want to see a lot of depth. I don't want to see any uplighting, ghoul lighting. I don't love flat lighting, so I definitely like lighting is really important to me. And then when I look at images, I also look for composition and just the overall beauty and creativity of it as well.
Awesome. And why do you think that our APNPI members should enter an image competition?
Well, I have a whole bunch of reasons. So there's so many different reasons, but I think that just entering something for a competition, and especially if you get the award, is just credibility and recognition. I think that's really important. It's good for each photographer to have goals, and when you can reach those goals, it's also really good for your mindset as well with your business. And it's really great at developing skills and overall just making fine tuning your craft essentially. And that in turn also can give you a confidence boost just because you are getting, insight from other professionals to find out exactly how you can get better. And I just think it's a great way to be a part of the industry.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and the one thing just to note there is that when you're entering the competition, you can always add on that image critique, and that really gets you the added a couple minutes of talk from each of the judges to get that feedback on your image, specifically more than just the number, the score, to get the feedback on what you can be doing, why they liked it, what you can do differently, things like that. So I understand we have an image from when you first started, your very first session, you said. So we're going to look at one of those early images and hear your critique on your own image. And then hopefully you can explain your growth and how you've come from there to where you are now. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here.
Okay.
Let's see.
This is crazy.
Where'd it go? Okay.
Oh no.
No, I got it somewhere. Okay, it's there. I just share screen. Just so many windows open, All right, so here we go. Little baby on red. This is your very first newborn session ever?
Yes. Okay. She was the very first one, and
I think I had that headband.
Really? The mom got it. She kind of bought everything and had it all ready. So what I see when I look at this, number one, is that I know what I was posing her on was not the right type of posing bed. It was a really soft bean bag, like something that it was like a kid's bean bag, because I didn't know what I needed. It's my very first. So she just sunk right into it. You can see. And then also I didn't have any posing tools. So I think I was using like socks or like face cloths or something rolled up.
Mhm.
And that just really hindered my ability to finesse, I guess, the posing. And so essentially, because the posing bed was so deep, I'm like her bum is sinking in. So when I look at this, I can't see a bunch of her body. The fabric is all pointy, it's wrinkly. The headband is right through the center of her forehead. The lighting isn't terrible, but it could be better. And overall, just everything with this image drives me crazy. But that's pretty much like, as far as like, I don't even know if I was really trying to do the bum up pose in this, but I'm assuming I was. So going forward, if this was a student's image, I would recommend that they use a flat surface that's firm, not something that the baby can sink into, that they can pull the knee up towards the elbow so that it creates more of a curve in the spine. And it also will create those little back wrinkles that are so cute that we absolutely love. And I can't see her feet, so it really doesn't qualify for the bum up pose. And yeah, that's kind of picking apart just the posing side of it. As far as the editing style, I can see the red reflecting onto her face. I generally don't shoot with bright colors like this anymore. So for one of the reasons that I don't like to edit them. So yeah, those are just a few things that I would probably also change.
And then, so how did you get from here to where you are now? What did you do?
So I started with online courses and then eventually progressed to taking a one-on-one, like I did a mentoring workshop one-on-one with a photographer in the area. And she got me to the next step of kind of having a workflow. And then I was still struggling with lighting and I kept buying online courses, and then eventually of course, you do get better the more you work, right? And so I was just doing a ridiculous amount of newborn sessions. So each one was getting relatively better. And then about, I think a couple years after that, I did another in-person, but group workshop. I attended a group workshop. And then after that, me and two other photographers in my area got together and we did so many model calls as a team, like as a group. We attended that group workshop together. And so we took everything that we learned, but we even did it better because our mentoring teacher was more about props. She wasn't really about the bed posing. And so it was kind of like up to us to like perfect it. And we did literally multiple model calls a month until we were like super happy and confident with our posing. And then also what we would do is we would take our pictures and we would deconstruct them together. And so we would literally figure out, okay, what could we have done better? And then also just getting better posing tools, like Hello Little put out the shapeshifters. Those were a huge game changer for me. And just having just better posing tools in general.
Cool. Yeah, no, and can I show where your work is now?
Yes, please do. Yeah.
So this is the current portfolio. So you can see like the style is quite a bit different, but then also
Absolutely.
just like the posing and the lighting and stuff like that. So just practice, 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 and feedback. It sounds like so image competitions and talking to anyone who can give you really like solid feedback. Like
Absolutely. I think that getting critique from your peers is really important. It can be hard at the beginning, but you might not see what's going wrong with your pose until maybe they suggest to
right.
Fix something, and then you're like, oh my gosh, light bulb moment,
Yes,
and
yes. I've talked a lot about that when you just like keep staring at your image and you're like, this is the one I'm going to submit, and you submit it and then you get the feedback and you're like, how did I not see that? And it's not a like horrific thing, but it's like, like you just need other eyes sometimes. So that's why these image competitions are so helpful. So yeah, the next couple questions are more about the 12 elements of a merit image. So getting that like next level. You spoke a little bit about lighting, but do you tell us a little bit about what makes good lighting in an image?
So I basically, I wrote it down actually so that I can explain it properly. So essentially, what I look for is depth, dimension, and yet softness as well, just to keep it natural and flattering. But I try to avoid flat lighting specifically because I find that when the light is spread evenly without shadows, it can really make an image, especially when we're working with newborns, it almost can make it feel lifeless and one-dimensional. So I find that having proper depth and contrast with shadows, that it just makes it more, I guess, more artistic and timeless. And yeah, it just, so with lighting, I specifically choose to have a directional soft light source. I use studio lighting. I use the PLM and the Einstein system. And I definitely try to just allow my light to sculpt the newborn, and keep it as artsy as I can, but yet maintaining soft lighting.
Good. I love that. Yeah, no, that kind of describes what I'm looking at as far as your galleries perfectly. So that's great. And then lastly, talk to us about effective composition. So what are some strategies that makers can use to create effective compositions in their imagery?
So I love to go with the rule of thirds. And we all know this was like the first thing I learned when I learned photography, is that the rule of thirds is an excellent guide, and rules are meant to be broken, but they're also an excellent guide. So when I can, I try to make my compositions with all of my angles a slightly different. But when you look at the grid of the rule of thirds, and they have those intersect points, what I try to do, and you can even like pull up a picture if you want, but I try to always bring the image and ground it to the bottom line, like the subject, sorry. I like to anchor it to the bottom line of the rule of thirds, like the bottom line in the grid. And I also try to connect the eye closest to me, closest to a cross point. Not always, so not every single picture, but yeah, so you can see it like almost in every picture, especially with these types of poses. You will see, like, if there was that rule of thirds grid, that bottom eye would be close to that. Yeah, and then it creates a nice composition. And I always try to make sure that when I have
same thing here with this one.
Yes, exactly. So it's always going to be that type of composition. And then I make sure that my negative space is in what's the word? On purpose. What's the word for that? Like intentional. I make sure it's intentional. So I try to not have negative space, a crazy amount of negative space underneath the baby, because I find that then the baby looks like, what are they, like, it just doesn't make any sense. So if I'm going to have negative space, I'm going to have it above the baby, because then it trails off into the distance. Yeah. Whereas if the negative space was underneath the baby, then it almost gives that idea that the baby is floating. And that's not realistic. And I try to keep things as realistic as I can.
Sounds close.
Yeah. So like her eye would be closer to the top grid counterpoint. So yeah, and that's just kind of how I like to do my composition and my cropping.
Cool. Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, is there anything else that you want to share with the APNPI members about image competition, or about anything else photography related?
Remember that what brought you to it in the first place was your passion for it, and just remember to, focus on your love of photography, and don't be afraid to challenge yourself and just enjoy it.
Well said. Well said. Yeah, we should all be enjoying what we're doing. Shake those nerves off. It's supposed to be fun.
Absolutely.
And rewarding. And it absolutely can be.
Also, if you do submit something and you don't get the feedback you were expecting, don't get disappointed. Don't give up. Don't feel negative. Just take it as every day you're going to be better than you were the day before, and your growth is always going to inspire others. And so wherever you are on your journey, you might be at the beginning, you might be halfway, you might be right where you're, been working towards. No matter what, it's going to inspire other people. So just remember to be happy and positive.
I love that. Well said. Well said. Well, thank you so much, Kat, for being here today.
Thank you for having
And
me.
look forward to hearing your commentary on the judging. Remember, everybody submit your images by April 22nd, and do add on that critique if you can, so you can get good feedback and continue that growth. So thanks again,
Wonderful.
and have a great day.
Thank you.